would like it noted. I wanted us to start the year on a positive note. I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to argue. I didn't want to bicker. So I wore my Jays hat, and I'm just hoping that this sets a positive tone
This
for
Jays
us.
hat?
Boom. That's the one. I really just wanted to set a good tone for the year. I think you should throw it back on.
Well, after last year, no, my wife says I shouldn't do it. I don't really know what her logic was, but she's like, don't do it. It's not working.
It's working.
It's working. She didn't say anything about you.
I thought it was working pretty cool for you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Coming from Dale. You heard it here first, folks.
My exciting news is I got a light from my wife because she was like,
It's pretty good.
she was like, you look awful. You represent me by extension when you're out there on the internet, and I can't have people seeing you like that because it's embarrassing. She's like, you're a hard 6, but with bad lighting, you're a soft 5, and we can't have that. So this is all making it into the episode, by the way, especially your back scratcher.
Yeah, you're just jealous because I was supposed to bring this for you and I forgot.
I know.
I had it in my bag and I didn't give it to you.
Clearly, I'm a low priority.
Get you one in April.
Yeah. New York City. I'm bringing the
New
wife.
York.
I'm bringing the wife for that, by the way.
Nice.
Because her best friend lives in New York, so we're gonna bring her over and stay a couple days and see the Big Apple. Never spent any time there, so
sounds glorious.
I just want to once go like, I'm walking here. You know, just once.
Get the hot dog in your mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
A foot long.
Exactly. It's a good vibe. Okay, we're good.
Get out of here.
This only took us
all right
5.5 minutes of troubleshooting. By the time I cut this down, it'll be like 90 seconds of us just saying dumb things and getting warmed up for the year. But we're back, 2026.
It's good to be back.
It's a new year.
Good to be back.
Is this technically a new episode, or is this an extension of our last episode? Like, are we gonna? I know we had talked about putting this in the resource section, but now we're kind of recording it, and are we just gonna drop it for everybody? Like, what are we thinking here?
Yeah, well, we can drop it. Yeah, I mean, this is just an extension. If you didn't see the last episode or you didn't listen to it, go listen to that. We talk about newsletter tactics and strategies and how to do it. This one's going to be example. So if you're listening to this, I mean, I don't even know if this is going to make it to the podcast feed, but definitely go over to YouTube. That's where we're going to be sharing our screens and sharing what we're looking at here and analyzing some newsletters and kind of giving our thoughts on what's working and what's not.
By the way, I can't imagine why you wouldn't have listened to the last episode. Can't see a reason in the world why you wouldn't have.
Yeah, it's at least a week old now.
It is. Hang on, I gotta tell off my dog.
Or much longer, depending.
Can I just say that if you ever want to work or live or take meetings peacefully, don't get a wiener dog.
I didn't hear the wiener, so.
Oh, I did. He's going to distract me. They're very needy, very loving, but very needy.
Really?
Yeah, and this little guy, like, he can't jump on the
Callie.
Not a Callie. Callie chills. But Frankie, the wiener, like, he can't get on the couch anymore, and he likes to lay on the couch. So if he can, he just lays over there, just like whines at you, growls at you until you pick him up. So anyways, that's what that little intermission was. But back to newsletters.
Back to newsletters. So I have a bunch open here. I don't know how you want to tackle this. Do you want me to share a screen and you can talk about ones you brought up, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, why don't we just open them one by one so we don't have to go back and forth on screen shares and stuff like that. We can just go through them, and then I know you pulled some that you liked. I pulled some that I liked. I think we're both pretty familiar with both of them, so you can kind of run through yours. I can add any comments and vice versa if that works for you.
Sure, man. Yeah. Okay, well, I'll go first then, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll just pull up a few. So yeah, I mean, the goal here is just to provide a little bit of inspiration so that if you are creating a newsletter, you don't have to do as much thinking. There might be some good ideas you can borrow. Taylor, let me know if you can see this okay up here.
Yeah, I got it. I think another thing too is, like, as far as inspiration goes, I feel like a lot of these are good. They're good to see what other people are doing. They're also just a good way to see, like, what's fun, what's interesting. Like, people can think you can think a little bit outside the box with your newsletter. It doesn't just have to be necessarily cut and dry informative. You can have some fun stuff in there too. So I feel like a lot of these kind of reflect that as well.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, just to kind of re-summarize, the goal is to be able to create a communication that you can send to your members, as well as to the public, and that's up to you. But that's just how I believe both of us do it, how I do it, and I believe you do it too. A place to invite people back to where they can get a glimpse of what it's like to be a member at that location. So it's just like looking through a window and kind of getting a sense of what is the community doing, what's the beating heart of the business. And so we'll start with central office. This is one that we worked on last year and into this year, and it's gotten tons of great feedback. And so we'll just kind of walk through it. So this is a snapshot. There's normally a little animated GIF here where the little plant is dropping its leaves and then growing. You got a little intro image. This one here, you have a section that's from the owners and just kind of it's written by the writer, but signed off on and contributed to by the owners. And it just feels personal, right? It feels like it's not just a company emailing you. It feels like a real person. And it could be your community manager, it could be one of the business owners, whoever you feel, maybe your marketing manager, whoever you feel is the right kind of face. But we want to have some kind of at least name to any communication, so it feels personal. It's not just generic marketing. Here, there's a section for stuff that's happening at the locations or one of the locations. Mind you, with Central being a multi-location operator in multiple different markets, generally speaking, 80% of our emails are from this, have the same contents, with about 20% of it being contextualized to the market. So if there's 3 locations in a market, they're going to get an email that breaks out what's happening in those 3 locations. And so this particular one, I think, was from Seattle. But even though they're in Seattle, this was still something that was happening at one of the other locations in one of the other markets. And so, yeah, we're just trying to give people a glimpse into what things are like and add as much value, and then maybe do a little bit of selling or not, but that's just the general idea. Things that are happening in the space. So because Seattle is the only location in that market, it'll tell you what's happening on each day and what the programming is leading up to the month. And the next section here would be...
Question for you, just to jump in, because it might be interesting for people to, like, we talk about, you were saying how these newsletters, it's 80% centralized content, and then 20% is more regionalized for the locations. So for anybody who's watching this and might be curious, like, hey, maybe I have 3 locations in 3 markets. How do I actually do this? Like, is it mostly do you guys just have it as a template and then you have a section for dynamic content in there where you can do different iterations and it populates into the same newsletter? Or are they doing 3 different versions for 3 different markets? Because I know there's a bunch of ways I hate this, multiple ways to skin a cat or whatever, but that kind of thing.
Yeah. I've heard worse analogies. I don't know where, but as the analogy guy. So there would be 3 different emails. It's just a little less complexity. You can have if-then statements that says if they're on this list, then show this section. If not, show this section, kind of thing. Sometimes it's easier to keep your data tracked separately to see how different markets open and engage with your emails, as well as just from an ease of perspective, you're not dealing with custom logic and code that can show content based on who's reading the email. So those would be separate emails per market. Good question, though. And then these would be things that are like opportunities in Seattle. In this case, it's giving opportunities. It's not always giving opportunities, but I guess around the holidays, that's what they were looking at. So there's a few different kind of local organizations in Seattle to give if you wanted to contribute or whatever around the holidays. So there's a few things there. Member spotlight. There would be, one of the members across the portfolio, across the locations is featured. There's some short questions that were answered. This one's a bit longer. Yours could be shorter. But this was kind of a neat little highlight of someone pretty creative. Actually, the website, I checked it out, meaning.company, was a pretty interesting little brand. So that's a member spotlight. Always cool if you can pull it off. As we know, it's difficult to get people to do that, especially if they're an employee in a corporation that may not want their name to be out there and to be featured. But I think it takes a little bit of work, but I think it really adds a lot of sense of community as well. Here's an example of an article that was curated on Business Insider. It talks about different kinds of volunteering, whatever. Refer a friend. So it calls out, hey, if you want to refer someone, they get a free week of our trial membership, and then you get a referral credit for your introduction, as well as a contact email. And then a GIF. You can't really see this here, but there's an animated GIF in every single one, just to kind of add some fun and lightheartedness. And just kind of closing off the email, and then a way to kind of ask, to ask for feedback, or if you've got questions or anything, you can respond to the email, or click the link and submit a little form, and then some just general links here about unsubscribing. You always want to have the address, and then links into some of the core services and some of the social media stuff. So you could obviously add a lot more to this if you wanted to, but that's what they've done there. And I'll move on to the next one unless you have any questions about this.
No, and I see the next one that's coming up, so I was gonna I'll keep my my feedback generally for the next one. Well, I guess I can just say it now. But I think what I love about this one and about the Eastern newsletter too is that they're really reflective of the brand. Like you can see, it's not just a glimpse of what's happening in the space; it's also a reflection of the brand itself, and just even through the design and the elements, like in the central office one, just having like a moving little GIF up there adds the personality to it. So I think even just at a glance, even before you read the newsletter, you can still kind of see what these are all about, what the brands are all about, what the vibe is, and it kind of is indicative of what that experience will be like too, even before you've even seen anything, and content wise.
Yeah, I think every operator you want to portray a feeling, an energy, a style, right? And yeah, these ones have strong brands. Eastroom is another example with a strong brand, illustrations, introduction. And this one is signed by the community manager. And I believe they have different newsletters for different locations. You were a former member of them, I believe.
I was, yeah. It was actually funny. That's my first co-working space that I ever joined when I decided to be self-unemployed. So I spent a lot of time at Eastroom. Actually, the guy, this is neither here nor there, but the guy who did my wedding suits for my tux and my dad's and my best man's was also a member at Eastroom. So I met him there and kept that connection for quite a long time. So
I think I interviewed him as a member in like a customer research insight. What was his name?
Socks.
I can't remember.
He had made suits for Drake and stuff back in the day, and for some Canadian politicians. He's a good guy. He's like such a character, a lot of fun. But yeah, he's a guy I met there, and it's fun. Eastroom is great.
Nice. Yeah, it is. Yeah, really good, and they have a very creative, cultural, like Toronto culture kind of vibe, and slightly hipster, and creative and artistic. So here it would highlight events that are happening at the Claremont location, and then you see even they put a lot of work into their posters, and obviously got some kind of illustrator designer to color this, which looks really nice. Like I don't even know how to art direct this. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And little colors at the bottom and stuff. So open house there, and then they talk about the open house, and you can RSVP. And then in terms of programming, so they have a health hour. Again, they design graphics for all their different programmings and stuff that they're doing, and they do quite a bit of it. So details there, and RSVP, conversations in good health. So this would be another snacks and conversations kind of thing. It's a 30-minute seminar. Lunch hour, don't know what that is. Monthly program that introduces you to some of our best and brightest restaurants in the city. Cool. And I guess you get a complimentary lunch if you RSVP, and you can order. Check it out. So here's a little member spotlight. Again, it can be very, very simple, right? Like it can be, it doesn't have to be 4 or 5 questions. It can sometimes be one question, or it could be bullet format, like favorite movie, favorite color, favorite song, favorite artist, whatever. You can make it really punchy. So it's not a lot of work for them, but that's pretty cool. And it looks like it links into their blog as well. I don't know what an affiliate of some kind. So I guess you can get a 20% off Measure to Made products. Maybe that's where you got your wedding suit from. Not sure.
I got mine off what's the opposite of big and tall?
Short and stocky.
Short and wide. Whatever that is, that's where I got my wedding suit from.
Yeah. Same. Oh, mid-size. I'm a crossover.
Standard man. That's what I was.
Yeah. Here's another affiliate. So, you can have partners in here as well. It looks like they're doing affiliates, but there could be partners where members get free benefits and stuff. But what they're doing here is they're creating a resource, a place where it's like, I wonder what interesting stuff I might find, interesting benefits. You can also remind people of things that they're not taking advantage of. Maybe you offer headshots or free lunch on Wednesdays or croissants on Tuesdays or what have you. Just reminding people of all the different stuff that they can take advantage of. And so it looks like you got another affiliate. So really interesting to see all these affiliate things, and be really curious to hear what they're doing on the back end to maybe monetize that or not. And then you got just your regular links to the App Store, I guess, for their member app. I think it's Office MD, and then yeah, location information and contact info and socials. So similar format, right? What you're looking for is modular and easy to replicate. Again, your mileage may vary. You may not have so much going on, and that's fine. This is quite a big location, so take that for what it is, and we'll move on to the next one. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
This one by Alex Hillman of Indy Hall. I don't know if he personally wrote this or not. It looks like he did. And coincidentally or not, I haven't looked at this in a while, but he's got a lot of similar ingredients to it. So Alex is an OG in the space. Indy Hall has been around in Philadelphia since way before my time. I don't know, over a decade, presumably like 15 or more years. And so, they've done a lot. So, so here, there's that bit of automation you were talking about. Hey, it looks like you're not an Indie Hall member. Our membership's only possible thanks to, hundreds of active members. Join here. So a little call to action at the very top.
Yeah.
Really, I like the subtlety of that, and good use of technology and automation to do that.
Yeah. And I really like this in terms of just like letting people know that this is for them, right? Like you can send it to somebody and they're going to know it's not for them versus or they're going to know they're not a member. So this is tailored for you versus if they are a member, they won't get the same thing. I really like that. It's subtle, but it's important.
And you could even say, hey, this month we're offering a free 50% off first month for non-members, and you can do promotions that don't get shown to your existing members so that you don't have this like discount, right? Like you're not promoting the offer to non-members, which is a pretty cool thing. And we talked about this, I think, in maybe our last episode, about tagging people according to their member status, as well as their location, as well as the products or services that they have.
Yep.
And that way it would allow you to kind of, create offers based on customer segments pretty easily, with a little bit of work. So yeah, you got a newsletter at the top. What's in this newsletter? So a little summary at the top. I really like that.
It's a
really
great touch.
kind of makes it easier to skim. Totally. Yeah. There's a photo of Alex, as well as some intro text there. So instantly it feels all personal, right? It's probably written by him. And then here's what we got. Featured. So there's a potluck party, and this is the last call, RSVP. So again, I'm not a member, but I'm seeing this. And so this is where it really makes it feel like I can see into the community, even though I know I'm not going to go to their potluck because it's not for members. Maybe it needs to be spelled out or not. It says members and plus ones are always invited. So it's explicit about that, but really cool section there. And it really makes me feel like, okay, I see the kind of program they're doing and what kind of community they're fostering. And then the remarkably true story of a game of chess and the Coworking parable we learned from it. So there's a bit of kind of a lesson here, like a story. I just love this. I'm really feeling like I'm getting submersed in interesting news and stuff to peruse, whether I'm a member or more likely, or even as likely, or possibly less likely. If I'm not a member, I'm maybe considering joining. And so this is where you want to put leads, as well as have sign up forms on your website so people can opt in and get on the mailing list. As well, so that because people in the consideration phase may join a mailing list for whatever reason, because they became a lead or not, and then this would give them an opportunity to kind of browse. And social media is the same idea. Their goal is when people are considering joining, they'll follow you on social. The goal is to warm them and welcome them in and give them a preview of what it's like to be a member. So here's events. It says this week. So I guess this is a weekly newsletter coming soon. So upcoming stuff for the next week after this, and then a spotlight. Looks like they're playing a game of drink or draw.
Drink or not, or draw and draw.
Drink or not. Yeah, there you go. And draw. It's very inclusive of all the different drinker and otters.
Yeah.
And then just a little, follow up here in the bottom, with it make it easy to reply to this email. I'll, get you access to the Discord. So you're really getting a sense of what's involved in the community. And I thought that was really awesome. I really love that a lot. So that's Indie Hall. You can get on their mailing list, I presume, on their website, but that was super cool as well.
Yeah. On the Launch Workplaces front, I just sent you, actually, when we pulled all these, I think it was pre-holidays. So it's been a couple of weeks, but I think I sent you, you did open the holiday one. Never mind. I was going to say, I sent you this because I love that, we have our, Launch has the standard newsletter, but then tailoring it for seasonality and having some fun with it based on your brand and the personality of, in this case, the CEO, Mike, who, if you know Mike, he's a lot of fun.
Yes. By the way, you say tailoring a lot. in general conversation. I just wonder, every time you say it, do you feel like it's like on brand for you? Like it just sort of fits?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It's just kind of
Yeah.
like it's, and I feel like it's subtle, positive, subconscious reinforcement for myself. I'm just using the words
Mm,
like, you know, but it's, on the other hand, to be
yeah.
like, oh, dude, I really Kevin that, like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. More like, yeah, Kevin, that, yeah, I see what you're
man,
saying. Yeah.
I kept that up pretty good.
Yeah. We don't want to make a Kevin out of it, you know? Yeah.
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 I,
That's a good point.
it's funny you say that though, because have you ever like listened to now that I do more video content, I listen to myself talk a lot. I'm like, oh man, I say a lot of the same words over and over. And it really becomes a thing in your own brain where you go, I got to proactively not do that. And you ever had that?
No, never. I'm a perfect speaker. I
I'm
never even say
so engaging. Never heard the guy say,
so engaging.
never heard the guy say like in my life. Not a once.
No comment. Onward. So here at Launch Workplaces, so you and I, you do this one, and this is a mutual client of ours, and so here Mike contributes a lot to the intro and often has book recommendations and stuff, and so it's signed by him. It shows his face, and it feels like there's some accountability and ownership, and I really like that, and he contributes as much as he has every month.
One note on the bit with Mike too, I can speak to this, is that I think that this just goes to show, a lot of these newsletters have people behind them and they come from somebody. And when we look at the metrics for these newsletters every month, the stuff that Mike recommends are typically some of the most engaged with content in the entire newsletter. So I think it just goes to show that, people are members at launch, they know Mike and they're interested in what he has to say. And it just shows that there's value to having yourself out there to your members within your newsletter. So just that's an interesting tidbit that I've discovered over the last however long we've been doing this.
I mean, he recommends 50 Shades of Grey every month is his book recommendation, and people still click on it. So it just goes to show, the bar is low. The bar is
Yeah.
low. You can
Well, my favorite is when he picks
one good
favorite verses and chapters and then does the read-alongs.
Yeah. I like that.
It's a personal favorite. But
And fall asleep music.
I also like that Mike let
anyway,
us. I like that Mike also let us, like, for seasonality and for having some fun. Mike let us put a Santa hat and some and some festive decorations below on his signature for this one. So
yeah,
shout out to Mike for that.
yeah. You got to have some personality. I agree.
Yeah.
So then in the next section, it's all the things that are happening. Now, most of the locations are in the same area. So it's more or less one area newsletter, but stuff that are happening, welcoming new events using first and last initials. And yeah, just stuff that's happening, member appreciation day, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So
that's all good there. Some curated links. I should have let you read this one because this is your work. But
still can if you want.
No, I got this. No, I'm just kidding. So tell us about your interesting reads. How do you find the interesting reads that go into this?
Well, so everything that we're doing this work oriented, but we kind of like to look for stuff that's a little bit sometimes cheeky because it goes with the launch brand, but it's work related and interesting enough that people are going to click on it. When we have a great article that we've put together too, we'll include that in there. So we're kind of doing a mix of launch and curated stuff just to keep things fresh and interesting. But it's really just an exercise in looking for, what would you want to read? What would the members want to read? Well, what would they skip? And then looking at what's working and what's not so that we can, whatever gets clicked the most gives you an idea of what's the right kind of content for this audience, and you can tailor accordingly.
Yeah, you can tailor it.
See,
you don't want to Kevin it up. You just want to tailor it accordingly.
Don't Kev it up. Look at your metrics and understand what people are interested in.
That's right, and tailor it to their individual needs.
That's it.
It's your third time, by the way. I'll keep count for you. Don't worry. Okay, so we go to the next section.
Count Chocula or something.
So we determined that I would like some chocolate right now. We determined that AI is kind of the thing that everyone wants to consume and know about. So I think we kind of decided to put in an AI prompt of the month or some kind of an AI tip, if you will. Somehow you inserted a nice little GIF in here as well, or a meme.
Yeah, well, so this one was more. We usually do it for how to work better, but this one being the holiday edition, we decided to make it how to holiday shop better. So we gave people a little tidbit on how to use AI and people's, what they know about their loved ones to cheat on their holiday shopping and get recommendations and find places locally to buy stuff.
So this is how you ended up getting slippers for your wife for Christmas, kind of thing, and Hanukkah, or
that's it. Correct. And it was it was an absolute out of the park home run gift.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, love
And
it.
socks. I actually got like nice wool
And
socks
socks.
too to go in the
Yeah,
slippers.
yeah,
So
yeah.
ChatGPT hasn't led me astray yet, and don't know, don't anticipate it.
So far. Okay. Then you have a launch marketplace. So this is actually a tough one to get off the ground. I don't think we fully got it off the ground here, but being able to kind of bring a place that people can share stuff that they're selling, or if they're hiring, or if they are looking for jobs or things or people, this would be the section you would do that in. But we've had a tough time getting traction. It's work to pull that stuff out of people. So
Yeah. Well, and
that
also,
might hit the chopping block.
I've also seen it in other newsletters as well, where it's like if you have old tech or monitors or whatever that you need to sell, you don't want to recycle or give away or
Right.
whatever. People often have, like for sale items in there. What do you call it? Classifieds.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
that's another good one. Yeah, been a little tougher to get off the ground, but still viable to have in there, and a fun idea to kind of create a little unity among people. Unity? I don't know.
Yeah. And to tailor it for the right audience kind of thing. So here's a 15-second insight. I mean, I don't know how fast you read, but it's taking me longer than 15 seconds to read this, but
Well, it's
a little
definitely
bit of a fact,
it's
right?
written at an eighth
Tip.
grade reading level. So if you're at
Oh
fifth
yeah, that's way
grade,
above
then
my pay
if
grade.
you're like a fifth grade, then it might be a 30-second insight. But
Yeah.
in any
Or
case,
an 18-minute. And then you have a video with Huberman, I guess, talking about the same idea, baseline dopamine.
yeah,
My dopamine always goes up when we have our conversation. So, just
me
have a
too.
conversation.
And I look forward
Yeah.
to it all week. That's not true.
Yep.
It's a Monday. We record on Mondays typically, so I look forward to it all weekend.
You were like 2 hours early, 3 hours early for this one, and then 10 minutes late
That's all I can think about.
when it actually was the right time. But you were excited, which is the main thing.
I was an eager beaver.
Yeah. Little survey. If you want to fill out a survey and get feedback, that's something that can be done, anonymous or otherwise.
And for everybody's information, that's synced up to a Google poll. So if you want to collect feedback from your members, anonymous or otherwise, that just takes them to a quick 5, 7, 10 question survey. They can drop their feedback in there and you can track it in real time.
It just reminds me that I don't know who's even tracking that. So we've got to make sure email notifications are enabled. I'm going to just leave a little survey. Hey, why is Taylor so annoying?
Ooh, this is really spicy today. I even wore the Jays hat for you. I really thought that was going to be like a peace offering, and then
No, it was a joke. It was a joke. You're not that annoying.
When you do stuff like that, it just makes me want to sit here like this and just as you try to explain your points.
So you're in a very small screen, so I can't really see exactly what you're doing.
I was just clicking my pen.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you're doing like with your cheek or something. Okay.
No, well, I'm not a child.
Just got your back.
Not a child.
And then there's a little section where you can sell a little bit, right? So here's a launch offer. So you could have like, book meetings online, and you can search for the meetings, and there's a whole bookable meeting section, as well as virtual mail plans. So kind of just a way to cross promote various services that are available to people who for those that may not be using them. And then a little call out to get people to reply if they have any questions, comments, or otherwise, and then some social media links. So another that one is
just like another food for thought thing, just because we just did this in the January newsletter. Like Mike. So for Mike's section here, he's doing some sort of challenge this year that he, I can't remember that's got a name. I'm going to butcher it, so I won't even do it. But it's a challenge that he's talking about in his intro, and we decided to see if we could get people to engage a little bit. So we said, here's what my challenge is. Do you want to partake? We made the subject line about it. So we're trying to get people to, let us know, like, okay, we'll get involved in this, and I'll tell you what my challenge for the year is going to be. And then maybe at some point we can recap people's challenges. Like, here's what launch members are doing this year as some other element of newsletter content. So I like the idea of trying to get people to engage with your newsletter. It's not always as easy as you'd like it to be, but if you can get people to kind of respond, and it can be a vessel for getting insights and getting ideas and, things like that.
Yep. Engagement. Yeah. And that's, you'd be surprised how even just a few things that says, hey, hit reply and let me know, can foster conversation, which is great. That's what you want.
Nobody ever hits reply or lets me know.
Well, maybe take that as feedback. So next one is this is Shift Workspaces. So Shift is interesting. Yeah, I think I subscribed to theirs 8 or so years ago. There's a lot of stuff that I borrowed as inspiration, just in terms of having a member and a non-member kind of dual email list, which is one of the things that I don't know if they still do, but did. So this is a more recent email, but there's a lot over the years that they've done, and they've been consistent about it, and I think that's a really great positive in their direction. So here you have, December newsletter is what they've called it. I'm a fan of kind of naming your newsletter something interesting just for the fun of it. Um, so here's an example of phases of shift. So this would be like a member spotlight, I guess, and you can link to that. They link to that over there. Things that are happening in the event, so kind of holiday parties and whatnot, a different one for each location. Festivities around town. So again, they're kind of sticking with the holiday spirit because this was a holiday email, obviously, and just kind of letting you know what's around, which is great. Kind of just as you learn, basically what you're trying to do is teaching people that hey, when you open the email, good stuff happens. There's content that's going to be useful to you. You'll learn about somebody who's maybe a member in the space, and it'll always be a little bit different and fresh. And yeah,
Well,
that's kind of the goal
and
ahead
I
there.
like this stuff too. I like where it's like not just events in the space, it's also things that are happening in the city. I think that for, well, I said co-working space is fundamentally, even if a co-working space is part of like a multi-state brand, the individual
Mm-hmm.
locations are pretty much local businesses. So I like this idea of whether you're a single location or multi-location, like staking out your claim as part of the community as well. So you're not just talking about the events that you have, you're actually being a resource for people as far as like, hey, we're here, we're part of the community. Here's what else is happening that you should check out, that kind of thing. I like kind of broadening beyond the four walls of the space and being part of
Mm.
that community as well. So I like this in here.
Yeah, it's about being useful, and I think if your newsletter is useful, people will open it, whether they're a member or not. And if it's not, they won't. So how do you find ways to be interesting and useful so that when you have something to sell or say, people are actually opening your emails? If you just make it too much about you, your business, or whatever, and it's not valuable, people will stop opening them, and then you won't have a platform really to communicate. So that's kind of the mindset there.
Stop opening or
Um,
unsubscribe, and that's even more painful.
yeah. Also, like exactly, and then here's a call to action to host your year-end meetings at one of their locations. And there's links to that. And like, so it gives you an opportunity to sell when people are opening your emails, but if they don't, then you're not going to sell an opportunity to sell. And even if you're not trying to sell, you still want to build goodwill and build that, relationship, and just consistency a lot, works a lot. Here's the member referral program. So calling out what are the referrals, how much do you get for a referral and so on and so forth. And that's just helpful to see. Oh, interesting. I could get 250. I recommended Taylor join my space last week. I could have maybe I'll still get 250 for it or $500. Who knows? So just, good to remind people of the actual money and how that works, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of prompt people to think about, hey, referring might be an interesting way to get my friends in and maybe make a little bit of money, which is never a bad thing. Or, a gift card or something else that's non-monetary. Um,
Yeah.
Then you got Shift Blog, and so why Coworking Beats working from home this winter is their article, and then it links over to their thing. If it were me, I would put these links right in the box. I'd have a little button that says "Keep reading." You have to kind of go look for it, but
Make it
I'm not here to
obvious.
really critique. Yeah, but what I do like as well is that each section is modular. So if some months you have more or less, you can put it in or peel it back, and it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
And then social media callouts at the very bottom. Again, lots of friendly faces and kind of showing the member makeup, and the spaces throughout the newsletter, and really inviting and welcoming you in. It feels like a warm place, and somewhere that I would potentially want to join. So I'll stop sharing. You can share your batch if you want now.
Yeah.
But those
I
are all great examples to pull from.
Yeah, and just by the way, for anybody who's watching this, I apologize in advance. Mine are not going to look as good as Kev's because I was downloading his PDF from email. I use Google Chrome. Didn't realize that if you use Safari, you can do this properly. So, um, amateur hour is back in effect for 2026, but that is why
Don't worry. He's learning.
I am learning slowly but surely.
He's
Um,
learning.
let me see how to best pull these guys up. I might have to do this one at a
You can
time.
watch the learning happening now again in real time.
It's part of the magic of the podcast.
The smoke starts coming out of the ears until the wheels are turning in there. The AirPod pops out.
All right. What do we have first? So I'm going to probably have to do this one at a time.
I just opened all of them at once, and then
Yeah, I tried to
I
do
had
that.
tabs.
My computer's not cooperating. I'm not going to troubleshoot this live. We'll just go one at a time. Um,
What do you got?
okay, so first one here. I mean, I think everybody knows this, and this is a bit of a pivot because I think we covered like we covered a lot of kind of operator um, newsletters. I have one operator, but some of these are more from people. Obviously, I think everybody, and so the approach is gonna be a little bit different. I'm sure everybody that's listening to this already knows Jamie and already subscribes to everything co-working. But just one of the things that I love the most about Jamie's is that it's really personable. Like everything, she's doing some selling in here, and she's pushing her Google reviews to revenue challenge. So she is kind of, she's got a promotion in here, but starts off with an anecdote, a story. It's written by her. It's something that kind of like reels you in a little bit. And like even just this kickoff here, let me tell you about one of the most shocking review mishaps in business history. So she's tying it to something a little bit more engaging. It's not just jumping right
It's a
into,
good hook.
yeah, it's a good hook. She's not just tying it into a direct sale. So I love Jamie's just because it's such an engaging one. It's straight from her. And I really enjoy her use of PSs and PPSs. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I've read stats that having a PS your CTA and a PS is actually a great way to drum up more clicks than you might have gotten otherwise. Something about PSs draw people's attention and make it feel like it's like a secret little end bit that they need to make sure that they capture.
And some people read that and not the actual body of the email. So you can, if you're pitching or selling anything, reiterate it in the PS. It can go a long way.
Yeah.
And I like the plain text nature of this one as well. Nothing wrong with plain text as a email design strategy, as long as it's personal, right? It's signed by a real person, obviously Jamie, but that's what makes this good. If it was just from a everything co-working brand, you wouldn't really know, well, who's emailing me. And I think we live in a world where people want to hear from people, and so putting the person who wrote it up there makes it feel a lot more personal.
Yeah. People do business with people they know, like, and trust. I just said that on another video I blasted up before this, and it's definitely true. So the personal side of this is great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what do we got next? 25N reshare once again. This was such a high quality podcast for the first half, and now it's just really taking a turn for the worst.
We're tailoring it to the individual host, and the listener. So
That's it.
let's not get us into a Kevin here. Let's get the next one going.
Yeah, exactly. So 25N, I also really like their newsletters.
Zoom in.
It varies. I've definitely found there's some like some are much shorter than others, some are much punchier, but some of them are super in depth like this.
Can you zoom in, Taylor? I can't see it.
Yes,
There you go.
sure can. I like the visual up here. I like the graphic that they have up here. I like that it makes it a little bit, grabs your eye and kind of reels you in. So the first section here, in the know. So this is, activities and blog content. But it's all broken up into sections, which I like. Next is, you get into, it's giving fall vibes. So getting into a calendar of events, but I even like, I love that they have, they make this fun, even just the way they write all with all the L's. And it sounds like you're kind of getting this fun, vibrant newsletter that aligns with the brand. And then they've got a calendar of events. So like a proper calendar that allows people to visualize what's happening on what days. So I love that. Any comments from you on this? I feel like I'm burning through this without letting you
We've
speak.
got lots to get through, so you're not burning through anything. But I love it. It's just nice and visual. It makes me want to open it, and it's an easy way to consume what's happening on different days. I love the calendar look. Eastroom has some interesting looking calendar designs on some of them. Not the one we saw, but they also have a visual calendar aesthetic, which is cool.
Yeah, and sometimes they can be hard to pull off. I've seen calendars done where it's super crammed, and you'd ask me to hyper zoom in again so that you could see it. But this one is clear and shows you exactly what's happening. So again, much like we did with launch, new and now at 25N. Again, it's just taking a look at the various.
Do you do their newsletter?
Who's that?
This one?
No, I don't. This is just one that I like.
Okay. I thought you said we. Okay.
No, I meant much like we do for launch.
Okay. Got it.
I do.
They do. Okay.
I do not do the 25N. So much like we do for launch,
they should hire you though.
They should hire.
They're doing a great job, but they should hire you. Why not?
I would love that. Let's talk.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they?
Why wouldn't? Well, I mean, based on this podcast, I can think of a few reasons, but disregard. probably not going to hear it anyway. But new, new and now at 25N, that same idea. It's just giving a look at each of the individual locations and what's happening. Um, Spotlight of the week. This is great because it's just like it's a birthday, right? I think that for me, this shows that you know the members that are there. You're paying attention to the milestones in their life and things like that, which I feel like is a really great touch to be able to have something in here like that. Um, Workspace is doing work. So I know that you talk a lot about productizing services and specifically productizing offices more and
Yeah.
really making them shoppable. So I like this.
Hmm.
I like that they have this in here. I like that they have a photo of the office. Obviously, would love to see people in it, but it's an empty space, so um, it's kind of like a office for lease. So it wouldn't make sense to have people in it. Now that I say that, but I like that they have all the details in here. Number 124, up to 9 people. Ideal for a small team. Pricing starts at $4,000 a month, and then they've also got half off their half off fall promo from the fall for the first 3 months.
Hmm.
So I like this way of presenting the information. I think it really helps people to visualize the space. It helps them to put themselves in that space. And then,
Also, just to add to that, I also like how it creates a bit of urgency. So if you're like this office is becoming available in February, get it now, then
yeah,
suddenly, like if I need that size or I need that kind of office, or now I know that everyone else on the list knows it exists, so it kind of creates a bit of
yeah,
urgency. Like I was recently buying a new car, and what I noticed, a lot of their tactics were like, oh, this one can be gone tomorrow, or like they'll be like, oh, we just sold 3 since yesterday, since we talked to you, all we have is this one left. But if you go back there in 2 days, they're just like, oh, by the way, we have another batch of 6 cars. But they're playing with, kind of urgency and scarcity. And what this does is, in the back of your mind, you're like, well, everyone knows about this. So if I'm serious about this office, I should act with haste. So something to think about in terms of the psychology behind sharing individual offices. Ideally, they're upcoming, so people have a little time to prepare. And if it hasn't been sold, hasn't been vacant in 2 years, you could say, hey, this one doesn't come around very often, and it's kind of underscoring that it's desirable and it's available. But that's one of the things I've psychologically noticed about these things.
yeah. That's a great observation. I guess it makes sense how Subaru got you with the scarcity. Didn't want
We
to.
didn't get a Subaru. We didn't get one. No, I dissuaded my wife away from that direction.
Kevin got his wife a very cool car. Um, but and I like this. Let's be friends. Like it feels
Yeah.
personable. It's got all the various channels they're on, which is, by the way, quite a few.
Yeah.
So you got Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Is this uh, what's it called?
Patreon.
I don't know if it's Patreon or if it's what's the Substack? Maybe not. Could be Patreon, but then web and email as
Could be.
well. So I like that too. And then getting back down to the last two, I think we have here, and I'm sure that probably everybody in the world knows these ones. Next up is Kat Johnson, Coworking newsletter.
That was a Medium link, by the way.
Oh, it was. Okay, I couldn't identify the logo readily. Medium. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Cool. So, Kat newsletter, the co-working letter. Obviously, Kat's great at branding her. She's great at branding her newsletter. She's got a great brand. And again,
She's a great
much
writer, great email marketer.
yeah, and much like Jamie, Kat's always so personable. Again, that's kind of the difference with a newsletter from yourself or from somebody, but it's really personable. It's very kind of like story oriented. You really feel like you're connecting with Kat when you read it. So this particular one is focused on the story that you're selling. So fitting that she's got the story. But she's basically just explaining how to convey your story and why from a marketing perspective. But I like that she's got her newsletter nicely broken up with headers. So, as you were saying before with the PSs, sometimes people just skip right to the bottom just to see what's there. Or with the recap that was in whose newsletter had Indy. Who's the one that the recap up there that you just showed?
Oh, that was Indie Hall.
India Hall. Yeah. So for Indie Hall, they had the one at the top. But so for a newsletter with like this, she breaks it up into small digestible sections broken up by headers. So again, makes it super, super skimmable for people to get through. Feel like you had something there.
Nope, nothing.
But yeah, I just love that it's skimmable. Um, and I also like with Kat that
It's
she's
educational and it's useful as well.
yeah,
Like that's the whole thing here. It's personal, it's educational, and it's useful. That's a mission regardless of whether you're an operator or anyone sending emails. If it's not useful, no one's gonna open it a second time. If it's not personal, it's gonna feel bland. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I also like that Kat's got her like personal sign off that she uses every time. It just kind of like sticks in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Another nice touch here. I think I actually stole this from you years ago, but I like having this in here. That she has this in here. So if you like these newsletters, you can forward it to a friend. I like that she just has the link there in case. Yeah, Cats is great. Again, as you said, educational, hits the mark, story oriented, personal, really conveys her brand, has a brand. Um, yeah, big fan. I open these every time I get them. And then last one, again, I just picked the biggest, most obvious newsletters probably imaginable here. But This Week in Coworking.
You got two more. You got the root as well.
Oh, I got the root. Yeah, that's right. Shout out to Hector for This Week in Coworking. But everybody knows This Week in Coworking. Everybody knows, or this week in coworking. Everybody knows Hector, and Hector really, like, we've had him on the podcast. He talks at length about understanding your audience and what's relevant. And I think he said something, if you were going to take up space in people's inboxes, you have an obligation to make sure that you're delivering value to them. And so I love that, Hector's doing cool things. He's built this word puzzle, but he also really understands exactly who his audience is. He understands what they're going to be interested in hearing about, and he categorizes it all really well. As he said, it's all curated from all over the industry, but he makes it really easy for people to find the exact types of insights or stories that they're going to want, whether it's data. Is it data in the States?
You say data, I say data.
Potato.
Exactly.
Celebrations, news and views, market moves. So, like, I think no matter who you are in the co-working industry, when you're looking at this, you're going to find something that's for you. Whether you're more on the real estate side or whether you're an owner operator, you'll find stories that are podcasts or insights or articles that are great. Or if you're just curious about what's happening in the industry, you'll get all kinds of that stuff in here. Tech as well, discussion. So I really love how he's made himself kind of like the resource in the co-working industry by understanding his audience and then giving everything in really punchy, digestible, categorized formats so that you can quickly and easily find, even it's a dense newsletter, but you can quickly and easily
What's the
find.
CSI news?
What's that?
And the CSI, the Canadian one there.
It's making its next big shift. The firm who pioneered and inspired many of the early co-working communities is refocusing from co-working to co-creation.
Interesting.
I should read that.
I almost got an office in a CSI. It's a Center for Social Innovation.
Oh, yeah.
So in Canada. So this is way back with my former business over a decade ago. But good to see that they're evolving. But yeah, I love this newsletter, and I think everyone does. I'm quoted as saying it is probably the best newsletter in the industry.
You are.
After tailmaker.ca newsletter, of course.
Thank you. And Everspaces. No.
I'm very behind on my email.
You do a great newsletter, and everybody.
When I do it,
it's high.
It's great.
The thing that I like about
used
yours,
to write daily.
Kev, is that it's high impact. You might get it quarterly, but it's so good when it comes through.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I aim for.
But
it's personal.
It is. It's very personal. But yeah, so anything else that you would add to this? I think the big takeaway for This Week in Coworking is understanding your audience and exactly what they want, being respectful of their time, and just delivering what they want in a concise and a concise way that's easy to find what you're looking for. Is there anything that you'd add to that?
Yeah, I think just to summarize the mindset here and the philosophy of email in general that is exemplified here, it has to be useful. It has to be valuable. It has to be interesting. It has to be even entertaining or inspiring or educational, but it has to have utility, right? If it doesn't, then it will not get opened again the next time. So I believe this is personal. I'm not sure if Hector signs his name to this or not, but for me, they're synonymous brands,
Yeah.
Hector and this newsletter. And he puts a lot of work into it, which is a signal to the market saying, hey, like, you're getting there's some depth here. There's some real signal here that's worth opening. And so yeah, from a mindset perspective of how do you make every email useful or risk never having your emails opened again,
Yeah.
as scary as that sounds.
And just as from a production standpoint, I got to say for Hector, it's pretty incredible. Like I think a lot of this is submitted to him now. So just to have built the kind of respect in the industry and the value in the newsletter that people are actively like, the curation process is probably still largely proactive, but it's also largely probably reactive. So the value that
I
he's,
think he uses various tools as well to find this info, and he works hard at it, and he's consistent. And that's the other thing is when you're consistent with it over a long time, it really sends a signal that, hey, we're the real deal,
yeah,
right? That's what we're looking for, is less skepticism and yeah,
yeah,
more
absolutely.
trust.
I was just going to say we're running up at 54 minutes, but I have to edit out 10 minutes of us figuring out
Jibber jabbering.
microphones and jibber jabbering from the outset. But here's the last one that we
Okay.
got. And this is the root. So yeah, the root. Love the root. Ben's doing great things, opening new locations, has a really defined brand. So right off the bat, is this zoomed in enough, by the way?
Yeah, and this is from July 2025, so they may have changed some stuff slightly, just for anyone watching.
Sorry, yeah, some might be modified. I tried to pull one that I read and really loved, but
Yeah.
I like that it's called the Root Roundup. I like that he's got a logo with it. It makes it feel like you're reading kind of like a recurring publication more so than just
Hmm.
an ad hoc newsletter.
Yep.
Um, but again, it starts with kind of a personal opening, things that are going on. He's got some promos in here, stuff like that. It's quick, it's punchy. It lets you kind of get a feel for the newsletter, and then lets you dive in. I also really like the Rudies. I think this is one of the things that
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I've always
Yeah.
enjoyed is having like it's like the Swifties, but for the root.
Well, yeah, it's branded, and even though it's not a person's name, it's kind of, they know it's coming from a small group of people, and I love how they've kind of given a really nice name that evokes a feeling, which is awesome.
Yeah, and it kind of
They do
makes
really good at brand work there over at the Root.
yeah,
Big
they
fan of
do.
them.
This makes you feel like you want to be part of it. Like I kind of want to be a Rudy.
Yeah, I want to root for them and be a Rudy myself.
That was so good.
That
Uh,
was good, right? Yeah, I
yeah,
meant it.
yeah,
It's true.
it was 100%. And then again, member of the month here. I really like this, just profiling a member. Coming back to the, why you would do this. It's just another way to give people a little bit of insight into who's in the space, who they might be surrounded by, when they work there, and to learn a little bit more about them. For me, that's kind of like, again, when you talk about the window into the space, this is a big part of that. Just showcasing who's around. I think it allows people to kind of, you know, pre-qualify whether it helps to pre-qualify whether it's for them or not, and then links out to the full article. So you're just giving a little bit of a synopsis here, and you can learn more. And then July happenings, again, same idea across the various locations. They have a lot of programming, which is awesome, but just letting people know whether if you're a member and you're receiving this, it's giving you the FYI of what's happening and what's not. If you're not a member and you're reading this, it kind of makes you be like, this sounds like fun. Sip, sip, hooray. Someone's birthday
Hmm.
celebration, scoop top and
Yeah.
chill. You got ice cream. Like for me, these are the kind of FOMO inspiring things that make me interested in a space, right? Like I already know that I can get a desk or I can get an office, but understanding, first of all, who's here, and then what kind of fun stuff also happens in the space is great. Um,
Hmm.
are you working on this one with Ben?
Yep. I mean, they're autonomous at this point, but I work with them, and yeah, and they haven't separated. There's now a fourth location. At least at this time, they didn't separate by market. So even though Fayetteville is in Arkansas, the other two are in Oklahoma. They haven't separated out, but as they grow, that this section will get so long that it's worth saying, okay, we're gonna duplicate this one and just separate the location specific contexts a little more because people are not gonna likely drive between locations. But it's not overwhelming here, and it does a good job of showing, wow, it's not just an office. Like there's a life here, there's a community of people, and yeah. and then a full link to a full calendar of events, which is awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of like the not just the 9 to 5, but the 5 to 9 sort of thing. Um,
That's right.
and then meet the new Rudies. So I like this. It's this is a great way to kind of again show who's there. But I think for a retention sort of perspective, I just think that doing this small act of like profiling every new person that comes in as a member is such a great way to make them feel connected to the brand and feel connected to the space. It's quick, but I think it's impactful, right? Like if somebody shouts you out when I joined my last co-working space, I was waiting for the newsletter where they'd welcome me. So I feel like it's a
And did
nice
they?
no. I swear,
Still waiting.
dude, I'm serious.
Still opening all the emails.
I swear
They welcome everybody else.
I swear, I actually was gonna be like, "Hey, man, this feels personal. Is there a reason why I'm not in
Did
here?"
they wait? Did they welcome people at all?
Yeah, like literally everyone except for me. I don't know. Okay, hindsight
They
being
kept that
2020.
one up.
They kept that up. No, to be fair, I'd been a member at a different location, and then I left for 2 years, and then I came back to a new one. So maybe I was already in the system and didn't make the cut. But either way, I think this is a great way to make people feel welcome, make them feel like part of the community, and really feel like they're ingrained there and connected with the brand and the space in a way that makes them want to stick around a little bit more.
The tear going down your cheek. I can see it.
It's this light. I can see every tear now. Alas. Community bulletin board, same thing we've seen in other ones, but just a great place to have news so that people can stay up to date. Make the route your summer retreat. So discounts on co-working memberships, opportunity to sign up today. So you've done a lot of community oriented stuff. Then you've got a little bit of sales worked in there, just in case to capture people's attention. And then again, classified. So something we saw similar to launch, but have something newsworthy to share. Let us know. So I'm assuming this is to gather kind of like wins for members as well as other things. Is that right?
Or other things. The classifieds would be if you want to sell something, but yeah.
Oh, I just saw newsworthy, and I thought it was like if you have a story or a win.
And a little meta lesson. People don't really read everything, so you know,
Yeah,
even if the headlines are super clear about what it is, someone out there will not. So you can never make your emails too intuitive. Let's put it that way.
yeah, there you go.
But I also like how it's blocked, right? It's modular, and that's what we like is like simple, sectional.
Yeah,
And if 1 month you have to remove something or add something, it's really easy as opposed to trying to blend too much and having too many different columns and making it complex. Yeah.
yeah, 100%. And then I think one of the last things here is just the that's good. One of the last things here is the camera roll for June. So again, like talking about giving people a view into the space. Here's a view into the space, and this is all just like this isn't overly staged photography. It's not like it's something that they shot once and super. It's in the moment as it happens, kind of content that shows the life and the vibrancy of the space. It shows people that are there. When you look through this, it really gives you a feel for like, oh, so this is what it's all about, right? Like this is what my workday is going to feel like if I'm there. So I love this. I love having this in here. It just puts it out there for everybody to see. Really helps you connect. Dad joke of the month. Why, who doesn't love a good dad joke? Why did the ice cream truck break down? Because of the rocky road. Pretty good. Oh, I know why. Okay, this is literally why I picked this particular newsletter, despite the fact that there's probably more up-to-date recent newsletters that I could have pulled from. It was because this made me laugh so hard. So I don't know if anybody watches Love
They made
Island,
their own meme.
but this was hysterical.
No,
If
it's
you're
not my.
so it was like a big social media thing, which fits with their brand and the vibe. I just love that they took it and made it their own. Worked to the route and enjoyed their local beer on tap in the afternoon. My dream date, cute, and he knows that. And for anybody who is not familiar with that, I'd go back and catch up on the trends from July.
I'll go back to Love Island.
Yeah,
season 1.
That's you. And yeah, so just social at the bottom again. But I love this newsletter. I think it's a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of you could read this one edition of the newsletter and get pretty much everything you need about the brand and the space, enough to help you understand it if you're not a member, and enough to feel like you love it more if you are.
Now, I know it looks like a lot of work, and to some extent, it can be a bit of work. This is done by a community manager, and it's completely doable if someone has a bit of capacity in their day. Yes, it does take work, but I find if you have examples and you're a little bit organized, You can gather the right information and put it together, and it doesn't have to be a huge job. But obviously it's a skill, right? There's a lot of really personal touches and, the Rudies, and there's a lot of creativity. And so it's not going to be the easiest thing if you're not used to it, but I would recommend just, hey, get started with something, try to be as consistent as you can and try to build on it over time, and it'll get better as time goes on. But don't worry about perfection, and don't worry about trying to be the next root with your newsletter, because it's just not going to happen. You're going to want to be your own version. So start small and add to it, and try to be consistent, and look for people when you're hiring that can help contribute to this and have some of those skills would be my recommendation.
Yeah, and I'd also just add to that, don't be afraid to let your brand shine through a little bit. If your brand is fun, let the newsletter be fun, right? Like, know the audience, create something for them, and iterate over time.
Yep. I love it.
Cool.
Well,
Well,
that was fun.
it was fun. Guess we got it.
Yeah, lots of good stuff. So where can someone find all these if they want to download and look through them?
So we're not going to drop this as an episode, but we can drop this at coworking.marketing/resources. You'll be able to find that there.
Are we not dropping this as an episode?
Oh,
or is this just a resource?
I think we're just iterating on the idea of what we're going to do. We could drop this as an episode.
I think we should.
I think we should too. I like that idea. Okay, so you can find this at coworking.marketing or at youtube.com/@coworkingmarketing.
People are literally listening to this right now, so they know where to find the podcast. But really, what we're looking for is to go to Coworking.
What are you asking? What are you asking me then? What do you want from me?
What the people want is to go to coworking.com/resources, coworking marketing, coworking.marketing.
How did you somehow just make this worse than what I did after giving me a hard time for making it?
Look, if you want to download the PDFs and you want to get a bunch of other resources, go to coworking.marketing. I know it's a weird site. coworking.marketing/resources. Get on the mailing list. Some magic will happen. You'll get a Google Doc, and in that Google Doc, there's AI prompts, how to write with blog content with AI, how to do KPI stuff, how I manage and organize stuff. There's a bunch of things that we've shared over past resources and past episodes. This will be in there. It'll be linked with a folder, and you can go and download all these, take a look at them.
Speaking of coworking, do you watch The Office?
Yeah.
Do you know what this?
I have seen it, and I don't currently watch it.
Do you know what this whole thing just made me think of? When he says,
No.
Sometimes I start a sentence and I don't even know where I'm going. I just hope I find it along the way. I feel like that's what this episode was. Started a pod.
I feel like that's what every episode of ours is. Although we do write outlines.
We do. But do we stick to them? Sometimes we start a pod and we don't even know where it's going. We just hope we find it along the way.
Exactly.
Well, this was great.
On that note.
It's great. It's fun. It was ups and downs, emotional.
It's good for me.
It was emotional. Highs,
it was tailored.
Peaks and valleys. Tailored just for the audience. Well.
Yeah. All right. Let's not Kevin up the ending. Thanks, folks, for being here. If you like this, share it with a friend. That's your job now. Is sharing our stuff. Shill it, like push it really hard on people.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
Yeah.
That's it. All right. Catch you next time.
Right. See you in the next episode. Yep.